why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right, a collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are, your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. The Brew and Stew. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still full. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today.
Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audiobooks and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
Let's slow this down for a moment. Money feels overwhelming because no one ever really taught you how it works. When things feel confusing, it's natural to avoid them. That doesn't mean you've failed. You don't need to know everything. You just need to take the first step. That's what the consultation call is for. It's a calm, clear conversation where we look at where you are, where you want to go, and what steps actually make sense for you to build wealth. No pressure. No jargon. You're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to feel unsure. And you're allowed to want a future that feels safe and secure. Schedule your consultation call. It's the first step toward achieving your dreams with someone who will walk you through it, one step at a time. Wealth with Valor. Clear guidance, steady progress, real peace of mind. Scan QR code to schedule your consultation with Valerie Smith. Let's take the first step together.
All right. Good morning. Here we are and welcome back, and it is another day, and I know Zoom just updated again. I was looking at my Zoom and a few things were missing. That means that it updated. I just saw that there were some other updates that were shown as well. Good morning to the world, the crazy world of tech, and welcome back to another Tuesday with the Voice Lab with Nicole and Colleen. We got some great stuff coming at you. Encourage you to go and check out one of our newer sponsors, Valerie Smith, with a wealth consultation. She's got some good stuff, some great information. She's always looking to help and listen and help you work out that wealth path. Also, check out the Voice Lab. I'll put all these links will be available in the chat. We've got the Voice Lab group on the school platform coming up. It's all about visibility, which is powerful, and the systems that make it profitable. And with the group on the Voice Lab, we got some great things coming up. We've got Solutions Lab where you can pop in and do like a little like, hey, check out the teacher. I've got some questions on what's going on. What am I doing with my business here? So ask those questions. We also have the Learning Lab, and that is a great place as well. That focuses on the Q&A from the week of what we have planned for Voice Labs. A few things will be changing in March. There's some great workshops coming up. I know I'll be doing one. Colleen's got one coming up. You can check that out in the calendar. There's networking. We've got caffeinated conversations. We've got Monday Morning Business Foreplay, Pain Point Podcast. We got a lot going on in the group. We're up to about 165 members. But one last thing that I want to point you to, not only the stages that we have coming up, which is, let's see what summits we have coming up here. The Plot Twist is a gathering for authors, people who have written books, people who publish books, people who illustrate books, and all the cool accoutrements that go along with it. Little publicity there, some spoken word, maybe a chapter read or two, and some great storytelling and panel. Also on the next in May is the Authority Code. It's all about leaders and influencing your audience, being a soul-led leader and really influencing how your audience connects. And that's what we're doing here with the Voice Lab, the podcast, and the group is sharing. How can we influence you to have a better business, be more creative, and use that creativity to harvest? And so we'll get into the podcast today. So just leading from within. And this is just a great year to get on the stage and really market your business. So Colleen, what do we have going on today in the lesson of business and being visible and getting on the stage and even the back office fun stuff?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about conversations and how to transition those into sales, right? Because we have so many conversations, especially on if you're participating in summits and the follow-up thereafter, and how to make that so that it's service-based and not salesy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It, and this came up, I think a lot of it really showed its light yesterday in the networking is just what we're doing and what we're working with and what we're curating in is just, how do we connect? How do we engage? Because, and the truth is, right, was Tawana that said that in her speech. I believe it was when she was talking, the trust deficit of people. With the advent of AI, we need to bring it back, those connections and sharing referrals, which you started doing, which I think is really powerful, is how we connect and that we're actually here for a goal. We're not just here to hang out and talk about your cat, right?
Right. And I think, Nicole, it's so important to remember that we need to be honest in our businesses. It's okay to say, hey, I'm just starting, or to say it's been a rough month, or maybe I didn't get as many sales as I wanted to. When we do that, it not only makes us more authentic and more relatable, but it also opens us up to building relationships. It brings trust in, believe it or not, because I think so many people sit in a place where they think everybody else is successful. And the truth of the matter is, not everybody's successful online, and not everybody has the same definition of success. And so those things, when you're honest in where you are in your business, when you're in a group and you have a safe place that you can say, look, I need help with this, or I need help with that. And a lot of this provides for everybody teaching moments. So yesterday in our networking, the opportunity to say, look, this is how we do our networking. This is what we're looking for. This is how you share on LinkedIn or you connect people through text. Just being able to help people by putting that out there, assuming that people don't know, and then just teaching them a little bit. Last night when I went in the school group, there were quite a few comments that you had responded to. I had made a post saying, hey, we're going live, links in the calendar for Monday Morning Business Foreplay. And there were quite a few posts saying, where's the link? I can't find the link. Why can't you put the link here? And you said, if you go to the calendar, and I thought, you know what? People just don't always understand. We don't always speak the same language. And so I went ahead and created a short Loom video saying, here's a little bit about the school community. This is what you do in this tab. This is what you do in this tab. This is how you find this. So that just to be helpful, to be of service to the people in our community so that they get a better understanding of what's expected and how to actually take advantage of the group and utilize it and learn in there. It's the same thing when we have our networking meetings and anything that we do, we really need to make sure that we're service oriented. And that goes a long way in moving the conversation from, hi, I'm Colleen, I'm the founder of Simplified CEO Systems, to this is a simplified CEO system that I can create for you, right? When we build that relationship with honesty and authenticity, show up as our relatable selves, just who we are, then it really opens the doorway so that conversation isn't salesy and it isn't. I just hate when people jump in. They're like, oh, I'm so and so, and this is what I sell. It's like, okay, well, I didn't ask about your services, right? But if they come in and they're getting educated through service and they can see that you're authentic in your business, then it really just opens a whole new conversation.
Well, and that's education. So when you brought up the calendar and the community, what we're doing because school is such a new platform is we're pivoting from the Facebook scroll and post. It's like you don't just and this is from going back to when Facebook started and the likes and the loves, you just want to hit the like and people didn't really comment, to today with AI and the tech. You still got to comment something, feel something, go in there, let people know. Maybe Monday's post isn't that attracted to you. You don't feel like there's something in there. Use chat. Just add an answer. Talk to people. Put something in there like, hey, yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the newsletter. I'm looking forward to just a thing, something, anything. Put something out there. It is a business thing. So there's something towards business that you like. There's a sentence you can probably extract in your head that go, okay, there's a relatability in a business here. There's a relatability of the moment. I put something up in a newsletter about showing up, you're leaning into the mic and you're ready to go, and then you realize you're muted. Everybody does it. We laugh. There's certain networks, we laugh about it. There's a sticker, they have a sticker that says you got to unmute, and you could show it and have fun with it. You want to have fun with it. We all do it. But if, maybe you hate it, maybe you love it, say something. You've got to engage. And this is what this platform is about. And if you don't engage with the people that you're posting with every day, and then why would they engage with you? And then you wonder when your event comes in, you wonder when you send your email, nobody's replying to me, what's going on? And it starts at a small place. When you network with people and they drop their LinkedIn, go right to their LinkedIn, join them. Or if it's someone you're connected to on LinkedIn and you see them at a networking and go, oh yeah, because you've got thousands of people in your list, you're not going to remember everybody. That should spark you to reconnect with them. That should spark you to go, oh, they just dropped their link in the chat. I'm going to click this link. That's why it's not good to hold tightly onto that chat and not let people be adults. If you treat them like children, they will act like children. So this is going back to, we've got to kind of retrain and be cyclical about it. And that's wonderful about what you do. And Colleen put a great video in there, but you really want to come back to, okay, come back, get in the chat, click that link immediately and connect with people. You don't want to take 5 hours and drudge through the chat, especially a week later. And it's very hard for me because if it's a week later, I'm not going to remember your face. I'm not going to remember your name. I want to do it now, right? I need to do it in the moment because it takes time. And then you're busy being busy. I'll get to it later. And then there's AI tools that will skim through it for you. But the point is connection. The point is connection now and just reframing. We want you to know that in the community in Voice Lab, if you go in there and go to the calendar, there's this, it says community classroom calendars, the tabs at the top. And it's not to be rude, it's not to be mean or demeaning. It's really just retraining how we want people, where we want people to go, and it's guidance. And I think that's it when you're talking about sales and engagement, right? It's guiding people where you want them to go.
Right, exactly. And what I love, I want to circle back to Nicole. You said whether you like it, whether you hate it, make a comment. Okay, and what's wrong with just saying, you know what, this doesn't resonate, or did I miss it? Why is this relevant in this conversation? Say something, because the odds are you're not the only one thinking it. And so when you take a stand, even if it's for something that you don't like or doesn't resonate or you don't understand, there are going to be other people that are drawn to you because you're taking that stand, because you are not the only one feeling and thinking that way. And so just making those small conversations inside the content, whether it be on LinkedIn or it's in the school group, wherever that is going to set you up as consistent, you're visible, and it's going to draw the people to you that are your tribe. Might not draw everybody to you, but it's going to draw your tribe. And you don't want everybody, let's be honest. What in the world would you do with everybody following you? You want just your
I don't
tribe.
have room.
Yeah, you don't have room for that. And that's okay. And then let's circle back a little bit again to networking yesterday. And so I think that this is a new thing. Yesterday was our second week, right, Nicole?
Yeah, second week.
Many people hadn't done it this way. I think we had 8 people in attendance, maybe 9. I'm not sure if I counted myself or not. And I personally gave out 14 connections. These are people that I know fit each other. And in my brain, it made sense as to why they fit each other. For
Right.
instance, there was a ghostwriter, and then there's somebody in the medical profession that doesn't like to write, but is an overabundance of information that they could share. And so for them to connect would be a great connection. They could really collaborate and make something great, right? And
Right.
so if there's 8 people there and everybody's giving out connections like I was, that's a lot of connections given. And we were only on there for 40 minutes, I think. And so that's the point and purpose of that, is to get in there and share who you are, what you do, who you've worked with, who you want to work with currently. And then people can say, oh, you know what? That makes me think of so-and-so. That makes me think of so-and-so. I think you would be a great fit. And then we leave there. And like you were saying, we don't wait a week. We get these connections made. I made half of mine last night, and I'll finish the other half when we get done on here. But they're made quite, in a timely manner so that it's still top of mind and you can really just connect these people. That's the reason behind going there. And it's really a good spend of time. You're not scrolling, you're not looking for someone to connect. You are connected with people who are getting to know you and understand your business.
Yes. And I think it's something new to me, and I like it, and it takes me a second to, and I think that's anybody, right? When you're learning something new, it takes you a second. And sometimes I have to go, wait, what are we doing? And okay, so I have to redo it. Like, oh, who am I referring? And it's great because you start to pattern match.
Yes.
And when I look at it, for me personally, when I look at it that way, and I'm going, okay, I've got to match the pattern. I've got to, who goes with who, what goes with what. It's kind of like accessorizing in a sense, I guess. You want the shoes to match the hair piece or whatever. But our jewelry and earrings, which mine never match because it doesn't have to, and I'm just that way. But it's a new way of looking at something. And I love this because when we start to look at it like pattern matching, like who would be a great conversation, and learning how to connect people. There's so many people that have sent me this laundry list, or I should say novel, 300-page novel to introduce someone. And I'm like, dude, to me, it's like you two should connect. You're an author, you're a book publisher, you wanted to meet each other, connect. I think you guys would be a great. To have to explain and hold your hand, and then read everything about you that I don't even know because I only know a little bit about you. And I'm not trying to give someone a bio. I'm
Right.
just trying to be human. In life, you would say, dude, right? If you guys are friends, you're sitting on your couch, just imagine in high school, hey, you two would be cool together. You guys would look good together. Maybe you should date. That's kind of how I think about it. I don't want to make it any harder and more complicated because it gets weird. And then when you connect people, people don't know why you're connecting. And I connected a few people on LinkedIn, and I let people know that this is me learning this, so I'm going to do my best. If you have a question, let me know. But if you send me your diary of your whole, I have to pick through your whole life. I'm not going to. I'm probably not going to read it.
Yeah,
I'd
and so
rather
Nicole,
read Plato.
on that note, I'll just read a quick intro that I did that involved you, just so that people kind of get a feel for what we're doing, because we don't want a 37-page bio, right? So here's just a quick one. Hi, Nicole and Elena. Elena, I want to introduce you to Nicole. Nicole's a virtual event strategist who helps entrepreneurs amplify their visibility, connect authentically with audiences, and stand out in crowded spaces. Elena is a business coach for 6 and 7-figure founders and CEOs. She helps them stop spinning their wheels and break through to their next level. She's a brilliant business strategist and a mindset coach with more than 25 years experience. I think it would be beneficial for the two of you to get to know each other. And I sign off.
Mic drop. There you go.
They go
Boom.
in their little thing and they connect and they have a conversation, and maybe it is a good match and maybe it's not. But I think that it is. And I think that when you go in, you know that I'm not just saying, hey, you connect with you randomly. There's a reason for it, right?
Well, yeah.
I can see a benefit there, and I hope that the two of you can see a benefit. And so it really is a simple process. And if it seems hard or overwhelming, think of it this way. If you're using Chat GPT to do this, you can literally grab the bio, the LinkedIn link for each person's profile, put it in chat and say, I need to introduce these two people. And it will spit out a little and make it concise. You can even say, make it concise. And it will spit out 1 or 2 sentences about each of them, create the thing, you paste it over. So for 14 introductions, you're talking less than an hour's time. If I can take an hour out of my day and help that many people, and maybe only half of them are great connections, then that's amazing, and what a way to do that. And let's get back to moving the conversation so that it's not salesy. What happens when we're doing these networking connections? Because everything in business is interconnected. And so what's happening is people are getting to know me, knowing that I'm a good person, that I'm a good connector, that I'm honest, that I follow through, that I'm consistent. These are all things that bring value to my business when people know me as that. And so I'm positioning myself as that. Now, these people that come to the networking meeting, as well as the people that I connect, have more faith in my authenticity and my relatability as a business owner. And I become forefront to them in their mind. And so when they're coming in contact with other people, what are they going to think first? The natural thing is they're going to think, oh, yeah, I know Colleen could help with this if it's a fit, right? And so that's the way that the conversation keeps going and quits being salesy. Like, we're not salesy. I'm just helping you. I'm serving you, leading with the servant's heart again, right? And so when you're doing that, that whole conversation evolves and it becomes more about who you are, your values, the service center that you provide. And then people are drawn to that. Then they want to know what you do and how you can help them. I met with somebody yesterday that I've met with probably 4 times as a referral and networking person. And then she said to me yesterday, I want to know how you can help me in my business. How can your simplified CEO systems help me? And so maybe it takes meeting a few times. Maybe it takes building that relationship. But we don't want to do is jump in and be like, hey, I sell so and so. Let's get to the point. We're all adults here. Do you want to buy this or you don't want to buy it? No, no, I'm out because I don't even know you.
Right. It's like, hey, peace out, dude. You already lost me. You lost me at hello. It is, but then, it's getting back to the conversation to those people that are dragging it on and on and on and on. Like, and then my cat, and then yesterday, and then my kids, and then, really, where do you live? What exact address are you at? And it's like, whoa, slow down. Let's have a conversation. We're still professional. I want to get to know you, but if you share with me something about you or what you're looking for, like, hey, I'm in Florida. The weather's great here. It's good to meet you. It's good to connect with you. How's the weather where you're at? Oh, okay, you can connect. But if you start in with like, you're either pitch slapping and you're coming in hot and heavy and you're steamrolling through, or if you're coming in like you want to know everything about about the life, it's like, hey, we're not dating. Can I at least, can I at least get a soda first or something from you before the 20 questions? But let's have a conversation. If you're holding a conversation, if you're giving conversation, if you're talking about something and you're guiding it, that's something, and then we can talk about, hey, maybe there's a collaboration. Here's what I'm looking for, here's what I'd like to know, here's what I'm working on that I love right now. I have something from someone that says, hey, what project do you want to start right now that you haven't yet? These are my networking questions, right? And what frustrates you about lead generation or something? Hey, what are you working on right now? What are you working on that you love? What are you working on that you want to do? Are you looking for collaboration too? Those are a few questions that you can ask, and then there's some other things that you can actually have some kind of connection questions.
Yeah.
Hey, simple stuff to kind of get a feel out, right?
Yeah. So what I hear you saying, Nicole, is that to get out of the nice chat mode, which is a good place to be, it is good to have a few niceties, right? But to get out of that, then you need to come prepared with questions. And I come prepared with questions. And sometimes it's like, are you looking for ideas, support, or solutions right now? And that's what I ask them, so we kind of get a grounding for where we're going. Or it can be like, would it be helpful if I share how I typically help my clients? Or
Mhm.
it can move on to what are you currently focused on solving in your business right now? Another one I love is what can I do for you that's going to really help move the needle in your business today? And that really
Exactly.
helps them to stop and think. And then you can also ask, what are you hoping to put into action after this meeting? Just things like that lead to the sale. So let's go through the whole process. Let's say that we're trying to get seen and heard. We want to grow our business, amplify our business, and scale this year in 2026. And so we connect with Nicole. We are a speaker on her event. We sign up to be a speaker. That puts our face and our voice out there. We go and do that. After we do our presentation, there's conversation, there's Q&A, right? So we get to know people a little bit there inside that room. We're connecting there. Then after the event is over, we get our leads list. And then we can move that conversation from the Q&A into our emails, right? And that can be as simple as taking the questions that were presented during the Q&A and putting them in an email form and saying, hey, did you have the opportunity to pop in for this live event? And if you didn't, here are some of the questions that were asked after my presentation and my responses, and just kind of build those into the conversation. Okay. And then go in and get to know these people. Like Nicole was saying, when you go to their content, go in and comment. Go in and give your true opinion.
Leads list.
Share something.
And
Make
then
it
we
a
can move
comment that
conversation.
There we go.
make a
Sorry about
comment
that.
that people will want to interact with. And sometimes the best way to do that is to ask a question in your comments, right? To encourage engagement there, right? And you're becoming more visible to the people that were interested enough to come to your event. Then let's flip that over to networking. When we're getting into networking, when we're meeting with people, either in one-on-ones or in networking groups, asking the right questions, asking the questions and leading with the servant's heart. Always be the most interested person in the room, right? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so ask the right questions and do that in your school group too. And with everybody that you want to draw into your world, really ask the right questions. That makes it so that the conversation isn't salesy because you've been around, you've built the relationship, you've been consistent, you've been seen, you've been heard. They understand that you're there for a long time and that you're going to be there building a relationship with them. And so they're more apt to interact with you and be more interested in what you're doing at that point.
Right. So asking the right question. Here's the thing. Asking the right question means understanding that group of people you're working with. So if you're in a networking that's hard and fast, right? There's a different set of questions that you're going to ask people coming in. If you're at a networking that's more coaches, everybody's, on a different energy, soul-led level, you're going to ask a different set of questions. So it's kind of like reading the room. And it's like, what's the right question? Well, format the question. And hey, if it's not the right question and you're like, hey, they that instead of going, no, that's not right, and scolding the person in the room because we're adults, how about saying, hey, well, this is how I see it. This is how I like to look at it. And then asking that question, right? It's still having a conversation and trying it out. It may not be the right question for you. It may not be formatted the way you like it, but it's that person's uniqueness. And if we want to stay unique, we want to stay top of our game, we're all different people. And you're not helping anybody by, pointing a finger and scolding them when you get in a conversation with them. Just say, hey, this is how I like to look at it. Or, hey, and listen. The other thing is too, it could be going, well, kind of listen and tune into how that person is reacting. Because if they didn't answer your question directly, maybe A, they don't want to answer your question because they don't have to. And B, maybe there's something else they want to move towards. There's something else that their mind is set on. Maybe they're thinking about the last set of questions or the next part of the conversation, or they're looking at their notes. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay if somebody looks down and writes something on a note like, oh, you're not looking at me. Let's see why. Learn to read the room. There's tons of books, there's tons of YouTube out there about body language. If the person's not getting, like, I don't have a poker face. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't have a poker face, and you're gonna see it in my eyes, right? So if I'm looking down and I'm writing, and that's okay. Say, just give me, hey, I had something, it just sparked me. Give me a second, I'm putting it down. Then maybe the conversation needs to change. Let go. Let go of that person. Don't pull them. Don't yank them. Let go. If they don't answer your question, you don't have to, they don't have to answer that question. That's okay. Maybe they're not for you, and maybe you need to move on, or maybe it's just not a right time, or maybe it just meant nothing to them. That can be it too. Hey, maybe it just didn't spark something in their head. Maybe they'll think about it later. Oh, you had asked me this question. I get it now. So move on. It's a short amount of time. We're not fixing the globe. We're not going to imagine, we're not solving for peace, we're not solving the world's hunger in a 15 to 30-minute conversation. So start to read the room and let that go. I see a lot of that is it, and I love what we're doing is when we're having conversations and when we're networking, and then there's a guidance to that. And I think that's great where you have that experience, Colleen, and to say, hey, let's just move forward with this, and how can we go back? And it's about guidance again. It's about retraining people how to connect, and bringing that in there and saying, hey, when you turn that camera on, you are a different person. And that doesn't mean that you need to tell a lie. Maybe you're in the room and there's just some things that people don't need to know. And maybe there's a different way of looking at something that you're doing. But yeah, that fake it till you make it stuff, people can read right through it. Like, hey, I'm a dollar person for my coaching, and I want to start to charge 10,000 tomorrow, right? You can't, that's a kind of fake in it. People can read that. If you're saying, hey, I'm working on this in my business right now, and this is what I like to launch, then that's a different conversation. So it's really formatting the question, I think, is asking the right question. How are you formatting? Say you don't know if you don't know.
Yep, absolutely. And I wanted to say too, just a tip that I did share in networking yesterday, and I'll share again today, is that when you are adding people to your CRM that you're networking with, one of the things that I like to do that really simplifies the process for me is to take and tag each person I add to my CRM. And so when I add you from networking, there will be an asterisk, and then after that, it will say what you do. So for Nicole, it will be asterisk virtual summit host. Okay. And then for whoever she's looking to add to her world, I will tag with a plus. So plus, she's looking to connect with coaches. She's looking to connect with authors. She's looking to connect with CEOs. And so those will be plus CEO, plus coach, plus, because, and then when I come up and I'm like, okay, people want to connect with a virtual event host, then I can just put the asterisk and put that in there. And I know that she is one. Now, if somebody wants to connect with virtual event host, then I know she is one, but I can also see by the plus that other people want to connect with those people too. Does that
Do
make
you
sense?
put that like right after someone's name, like when you're in the CRM? Because you can
When I'm in
tag
the
them like
CRM, I
they.
just add the tags. I go down to the tagging section and add them
Mhm.
as tags. And so
Oh,
I
okay.
literally have a ton of tags. But when it comes to networking, it's very easy for me to just open my CRM and search a tag and find the right people for the right people then, without having to remember what everybody does, because we literally meet hundreds of people and it's hard to remember all of that.
It is because I went back to my spreadsheet and started looking at people I had talked to because I'm like, oh, I should reach back out to some of the people I talked to last year. But what does that look like when you're reaching back out to people? Like you had a conversation and it didn't really go anywhere and it didn't move the needle, or are you going back to people that you had a good conversation with, but maybe didn't really collaborate? The ball got dropped somewhere, or what are you looking at with your next
Right.
connection?
Right. And so what I do is I take my notes like this in my meeting book. And then at the end of the week on Fridays, I go through and I add those people to my CRM. And in the notes section, I put any pertinent information I have. And then I also tag them as a possible prospect, possible referral partner, things like that, but also put in the notes. And there are some that I put, honestly, that I put blah, 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 which is like, yeah, there's nothing there for me. Or maybe they just told me their life story and weren't really business focused or oriented. And so those, I just know immediately who not to go back and revisit with, and I know who to connect with and what I thought of them at the time, where I
Okay.
thought our relationship would go. And so that makes it easier to go back, like you're saying, like a year and say, these people, those people, but
Okay. So you and there's the place to be honest with yourself.
yeah,
You do, this is where you want to judge. This is where you want to discern. Those are big words, and I know people get a little bit triggered with them, but you judge every moment. You judge if your stomach is growling, you got to eat. You judge if how much gas is in your car. It's a judgment. It's a discernment. If that makes you feel better, use the word discern. But you this is where you need to be brutally honest with yourself, like, hey, I didn't have a good connection. There's people I didn't have a good connection with, and it took me years before I actually met them on a one-to-one.
yeah,
We did, and it wasn't necessarily it wasn't, it was kind of like, it's cold pizza. It just, there wasn't any sparks in business and there wasn't any sparks in the communication. But it took me a little while to understand where they fit maybe in my business and my business to change. So that can happen too. So when maybe you see somebody in a networking, maybe they've changed. They stopped telling about their life story, right? They're no longer doing that. Now they're a little more focused.
yeah. And I think grace comes into play too. I met with somebody yesterday, and when I met them originally 6 or 7 months ago, I really got the impression that they could live their whole life without ever speaking to me again. And then we got in a couple different, which is funny because I'm such an amazing person. Who would ever feel that way, right? But then we got in a couple of events that we were side by side, and we got to know more about each other in a different roundabout way. And now we are really good together. But I do have somebody in my CRM that I marked. I tagged I could live my entire life without ever speaking to this person again. It's the world's longest tag. But I'm like, I don't want them to know, but I'm like, this is not a fit. This is like, sometimes I tag them run also, like run the other way. So it's important to be able to tag and to use discernment. You know what? The truth of the matter is every single one of us is human. We only get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all we get. And so if you're really here to scale your business, then you don't want to be wasting time running in circles with ducks if you're looking for geese, right? You got to go find what you're looking for and build those relationships, focus on those. And yes, of course, give grace and let relationships evolve a little bit and give people the time that they need to grow into their business. And then always be open to, maybe revisit down the road when you've seen something different. And what that revisitation looks like for me is maybe a connection on LinkedIn again. Maybe saying,
Mm.
"Hey, let's have a little chat," just communicating in the comment section and or in the chat section of LinkedIn and kind of get a feel. And you've got to learn to trust your gut, to go with the
Mhm.
discernment and just kind of feel it out. And if you feel like things have progressed, go look at their content. Go see if it's changed. Go see if their tone has changed, their presentation has changed. See if you're on more level ground, right? Before committing to getting in another call. And that's one of the hard things I had to decide as an entrepreneur was not to get in a call with everybody. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you just can't. You would literally be in calls 24/7 if you were in calls just because.
Well, that's another thing, and it to I mean to me, it's like yeah, you shouldn't get on calls with everybody, and then sometimes you get into the groove of stuff, and you're just like, man, what am I? There's some great times, and you're scheduling, and you meet with some great people, and you're totally in the right vibe, everything's working out, and then all of a sudden something happens in your business, and you're like, whoa, skirt, stop, pump those brakes because it's like, geez, I'm getting in the room with the wrong people. I'm not moving the needle. We're not getting on a good conversation. And so sometimes you start blocking your calendar or not sharing your calendar, and you're just like, whoa, what is going on in my business where I'm having those conversations? And it's like, how do you pivot from that where you're like, there's just something in my business where I'm attracting the wrong people and
Right. And I think
it's blowing it down.
and I think every entrepreneur comes across this, right? And so there are a couple different tips or tricks that I've learned. One is I know people who put in a clause that if you miss the call, you will be billed for the call. So the
Yeah.
call is free, but I normally charge $250 an hour. If you miss the call and don't cancel within 48 hours ahead of time, then you will be billed immediately for the call, right? That's one thing. Another thing is to have a shorter call meet, a 10 or 15-minute call for some calls for random people, right? And then I like to have a longer call for people who are personal referrals. So if Nicole sends somebody to me, they're going to get a different call link, which is going to be a 30-minute call because I know that she sees something there and I want to explore that with the person. And it's going to take me 30 minutes. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to really deep dive with them, right? And then there are other people that I like to say, like my referral partners, I like to touch bases with every single month. And those calls are an hour. And we set them aside. We catch up on each other's businesses. We really deep dive into how we can help each other. And it doesn't always take an hour, but I set aside an hour because that's important in my business. So if you have 6, maybe 8 really good referral partners, and you meet with them once a month for an hour, and they are giving you, and the reason for the meeting is to make sure that you're clear on who you're looking to connect with at that point, right? And they thoroughly understand your business. These are people that are top in your world, right? And you give them that time, and what you're getting in return is 2 to 4 good referrals a month, then that's worth the time, right?
Right, right, right. You want to do that, and you want to it's like what is it worth your time? Are you giving people stuff? And it's like, look, hey, give me a referral, reach back to me, reach out. Maybe the call doesn't work for me, and people, but respond. If you say, hey, I'm going to give you a referral, I think it's okay to go back. Hey, Nicole, I I know you're a little busy. Could you connect me with someone? It's okay to reach back, not in like you didn't give me what you said you would. People get busy. So it's okay to reach out and say, hey, I'm looking forward to that referral, or I can't wait, or hey, I know you're not busy. Just kind of reach out and remind people. And I think it's good too, sharing in the reply email to someone if you're replying back to them in the next 24 to 48 hours and say, hey, thanks for the collaboration. I connected you on LinkedIn, whatever, good call. come to my group. I think it's okay to have a call back. I love to see you at this networking. I hope you can meet some more like-minded individuals that could help you push the needle in your business, right? So kind of give a direction on what's happening with someone, and just drop in a line, because maybe the connection wasn't good for you, whatever reason that was for, and then you could just drop a line with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the tips to getting a good referral partner is them being able to tell you what you do, who it's for, what problem you solve, what's the outcome, and how long it takes. And they should know these things so they can just say, oh yeah, Colleen takes Go High Level and she simplifies it. She will absolutely customize and brand all the things you need in the back end, and it takes her 7 days to do it. So go ahead and talk to her, get on a call with her, get her going, working on your stuff before you go on vacation next week. So when you come back, you're not only refreshed, but you're ready to just deep dive into your business and everything will be set up. But your referral partners need to know that. Just like when I go present Nicole, I say, you need to get on Nicole Summit. It's the only summit that I get on. If you really want to get seen and heard and build relationships, then you need to understand that she has a presentation time. You can do your presentation one of many ways. She can do interview style. You can do slides. You can do just speaking if you want. And then she's going to offer Q&A sessions. She's also going to offer a podcast ahead of time, and you get the leads. So these are the benefits of working with Nicole. And her turnaround time on all of this is going to be about a week afterwards. You're going to have all the leads and everything, so you can quickly get them into your system and start building those relationships out further, right? And so really being clear in what you want. And when you know your business that well, and you know your referral partners' businesses that well, that's when the magic happens, right? We're clear in our conversations. We're no longer salesy, and you've multiplied yourself, because now instead of just you trying to explain what you do, you have all of these referral partners that also are looking out for you. And that's huge. What do you have to bring it home today, Nicole?
So if we're talking about engagement and moving the needle, right? And not making it too salesy. And I really think that is just going to take time to bring that back. I think really, and I've noticed this in the summits, and I've noticed this in the networking, and we talked about it a little bit before, but it's really going to take time. It's going to take time for people to reconnect. You can't just, it's going to take time. It's okay. I know I had a few speakers and I've seen some people in the networkings like, hey, what's going on? And I think, there's a change coming, and we got so used to the last few years that it took years to get there. It's going to take a little bit of time to get back. Have those conversations, listen to the conversation, and hey, say, hey, it's okay to get to know people and get to truly build that know, like, and trust, meaning have a conversation. Bring the engagement back. It's time to support people. If you want support, you absolutely have to give it back. It's reciprocity. I think that's what it really moves down to, and guiding people in what you're looking for. And then just not coming in with a dump truck and just trying to move it out, right?
Right.
But know that there's change, and, take a second and go, that went really bad. What was my responsibility? Where was I? Did I not have a good cup of coffee? Was I a little tired? I was a little frazzled. Or, hey, that was great. What was great about it? People engaged, people talk. So kind of just sit back and look at what happened, how the day went, and how it can go better tomorrow. And set yourself up for success. Really set yourself up to see, what would you like to see? And that way, that'll move the needle, I think.
Yeah, and I think the important part of that is that when it is great, to figure out what exactly was great about it so you can replicate it, right? And I guess the key takeaway I think from today is that it's not about having more conversations. It's not about being salesy and being so upfront with your business. The success in your business is going to come from guided conversations, from thoughtful, intentional, relationship building conversations. And so you got to get in the conversation. You got to take the action.
Absolutely. Be there. Be in the moment yourself. Be in the moment
So
yourself.
present.
Absolutely. Be present. Be present. That's the best present you can give yourself, is presence. All right. And with that, The info's in the chat. You guys, tomorrow is the speaker call. I'm going to share that here. You'll get an email. Join the speakers call. It's about the next 2 summits that are coming up. It's about what we got going on in Voice Lab, how to get on the stages, how to become a premium member, what we have launching. We've got some great stuff coming up. We want to get you on the stage. We want you to market your business, and we want you to lead the way and do it professionally. Get all your systems in place and come on the stage and shine, set it and forget it, and just have some fun.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, guys.